as well.
You guys look
as
very serious. We are never
with
serious in these platforms. Niwaambie tu Mheshimiwa Waziri, asilimia 80 ya watu ndani ni vijana, kwa hiyo utawaruhusu wawe free kidogo. Asante, nimepewa ruhusa hiyo. Kwa hiyo so before I say anything, in a very special way, where is Khalila? Is Khalila in the room? I think she deserves a standing ovation. Tusimame tumpigie makofi. Thank you so much. Founders in the room understand, especially CEOs, the chief exhausted officers, because they're not chief executive officers until when you start to make serious money. So the chief exhausted officers in the room understand when you tell your partner to execute an idea, especially when you are starting, you're always worried about the outcome. So I swear I've never seen this video, I've seen it today because I was very afraid to look at it. And I knew the reason was if I looked at it, I'll tell them to go and redo it again, kwa isingeweza kuonekana. Tungebadilisha kila siku. So Harira and K15, if we can again clap for them, it's a very good work. Okay. I think it has to be full screen. Okay. Anyway, technology can be very interesting. Can you go back to the first slide? Okay, great. Nitakuwa naongea tu afu nasogeza kwa sababu this thing no longer works. Anyway, so Honorable Minister, Mheshimiwa Stanislaus Chongo, ambassadors, government officials, startup founders, community builders and makers, and the Sahara Ventures community, which famously we call it Saharans, protocols observed, na wasalimu kwa jina la Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Okay, 2016 we didn't have that greetings. So it shows you how long we've been around. So there are some few interesting facts. Sahara is older than my first daughter. It tells you the journey of this company. Sahara is almost the same age as my marriage. And Sahara is everything to me. But today, it is not about me or about us. It's about us appreciating you and everything that we've been able to do together for the past 10 years. So next slide, please. I will have 5 specific groups to appreciate too. So don't worry, I have very few slides. So the first group is called the elders. The first group is called what? The elders. My co-founder, Musa, has a saying, because he was raised in a village and I was raised in Kariakoo, so I know nothing about villages. Kijiji bila wazee ni kelele. Kijiji bila wazee ni kelele. Everyone is shouting. So that's why we need the elders. So if you've read books like Things Fall Apart, you understand the importance of elders in Africa, because decisions are being made by council of elders. They are the one who are championing policies. They are the one who are reading the government. They are the one who are making final decisions. So for anything to happen, You need to talk to the elders so that they can understand you, and then they give you a seat on the table so that your agenda can be pushed. So we had to choose our elders so that our agendas can be pushed. So I'd like to recognize the elders in the room. Unfortunately, 3 of them, they are not here. One of them is here, so please, Mzee Mshinda, if you can stand. Please, if you can clap for him. Asante sana. Dr. Hassan has been with us throughout this journey, from the beginning. He trusted his idea, he trusted the concept, he mobilized resources. He actually introduced me to the other elder, where you will hear his keynote, because he's going to give us a keynote, a virtual keynote from Switzerland. It's very interesting. He knew I love AI, so he has sent himself as a Terminator T-800 avatar. You're going to experience the way he does his speech. It's going to be very fascinating. But Balozi, Ambassador Arthur Matri, was the second elder that was introduced to me by the first elder, who is Dr. Mshinda. And Balozi Arthur Matri was crazy enough to come to our small office somewhere around Kinondoni to co-create with us the idea of Silicon Da. I still remember that day. Mlinzi alikuwa na linda pale ofisini kwetu. He came and told me there's a very big car outside and there's a lot of white people. What have you guys done? I told him possibly that's His Excellency, the ambassador, coming to visit us. And when he came in, it was like, no protocol, guys. I've read somewhere about the idea of Silicon Da, and I'm very excited to map the journey of Silicon Da with you. So what is this Silicon Da? So we spent time with him the whole day at our office. We were using some GIS tool. We started to map COSTECH. We mapped Universal Communication Service Access Fund, College of ICT of University of Dar es Salaam, Tigo, Vodacom, Airtel, and some few innovation hubs that were there. And he said, if we're going to reach at least 20 or 30 partners or members, then we are going to confirm that actually this is a community of techies, and officially we're going to call this district Silicon Da. By the time when we were finishing that activity, we already had more than 50 strategic partners located in one place. And then the idea, the definition of Silicon Da was born as a naturally formed technology district in Dar es Salaam. But that was not the end. And then Mzee Mshinda introduced me to another elder. This is Balozi Hami Mpungwe. And then we coined a statement called BBC, born before computers. It was fascinating to meet with these senior citizens in Tanzania who knows more about singularity more than me. I was shocked. They were telling me about things of the future, about attaining AGI, artificial general intelligence, somewhere around 2025, 2035. And then I knew age is just a number, it's an actual fact, because these guys were younger than me when it's come to understanding how technology in the future is being shaped. So from then we started to have conversations, very interesting conversations. And year after year after year, they've been showing up into this platform, showing their trust, opening doors to us, introducing us to other strategic partners, key players, investors, funders, and support every mission that we've been doing. We are truly honored and humbled with them. But beyond that, if you remember, the previous regime, the focus was on industrialization. But they were talking about a very traditional industrialization, like the old-time industrialization with smokestacks and everything. And then we had a mission to push the agenda of 4IR, the fourth industrial revolution. And being young people, naturally, there's a sense of activism. You need to run around and tell people whatever you're doing is not right. But again, the elders guided us very right. You don't need to challenge them. You just need to explain to them what is fourth industrial revolution, and it's not here to repress their traditional industry. It is just where the world is going, and basically it has nothing to do with industries that they know of. So to push that agenda, Dr. Mshinda and His Excellency retired Balozi Ami Mpungwe introduced me to another elder, rest in peace, Professor Ben Ndulu. So we went and met with Professor Ben Ndulu the late, and he was very excited. By then he was working with University of Oxford in a Prosperity Commission to push the agenda of digital transformation and digital economy in Tanzania. I still remember the word of Mzee Mshinda. If you want these guys to understand anything you talk about related to 4IR, they need to hear to someone they trust. And they all trust Professor Ben Ndulu. So we talked to Professor Ndulu. He came, he gave a keynote. He talked about digital transformation and 4IR being a completely paradigm shift, and Tanzania cannot be left behind. Before we know it, in the next 3 months, 4IR was written in a party manifesto of CCM. So we got what we want. So we really appreciate the efforts of the elders, because we couldn't achieve anything without them. They actually bridged the gap between people who are older than us, who couldn't translate what we are doing, and us who are young and ambitious, and we want to see changes and things move. But if that was not enough, the elders trusted me a lot. They sent me to South Africa to meet with President Mbeki. You can imagine, the president of South Africa. And I think I wasn't even 30, around 31. They told me for this agenda to be a Pan-African agenda. Balozi Ami said, you're going to South Africa, you're going to meet with President Mbeki. He's a champion of 4IR, especially in education. And because of the relationship between Tanzania and South Africa, if Mbeki says anything, they will listen to him. So a boy from humble beginning, from Kariakoo, went all the way to South Africa to meet the president of South Africa. Can you imagine? That's the power of the elders. They can't do that. It was fascinating. Unfortunately, he couldn't come to Tanzania. He wasn't feeling well, but he sent his regard, and he talked to the people in the corridors of power and say, trust this kid, everything's going to be fine. So things moved. But the story of the elders didn't end there. One of the persons that we all at Sahara appreciate and love and respect, and I've seen her coming in the room. If Madam Felista, please, you can stand. Ni mama yetu from UNFPA. It's very interesting. I said today I'm not going to talk about AI, blockchain, everything that I usually talk about. I'm just going to give you a tip. If you want the most accurate prediction about the future of AI and when we are going to attain AGI and singularity, there's a website called AI 2027. AI 2027. That's the most accurate prediction. They've done a lot of research, so I'm not going to talk about that. That's your homework. So today I'm just talking about people who have supported us to come here and reach this stage. So Madam Felista met me when I was still a government employee, when I was reporting directly to Dr. Mshinda, but Dr. Mshinda was flexible enough to allow a public servant to run a startup in his office. Do you know how complex is that? He just tear away all principles of conflict of interest. And sometimes that is what you do to champion innovation. For things to happen, you have to embrace disruption. Sometimes for things to happen, every rule that has been written in a book has to be broken so that you can be able to see the changes you are looking for. So again, I was there, I was running my small companies, Sahara Sparks, with my co-founders, Musa, Rahim, Mariam, Jacqueline, and Paul. So we are like 7 of us. This is our company, a very humble company called Sahara. And when Madam Ferista came, she had this big project from UNFPA regional office. They are looking for a small company to support innovators. We told her we can do this project. The project was almost 200,000 USD by then. It was a lot of money for Sahara by then. And at that moment, we've never even managed 10,000 USD. And she was like, I'm putting my reputation on the line here. I don't know you guys, you haven't done anything before, but you want to run this program. We told her we are navigating. We used to manage events. Now we are moving into consulting. Do you know how dangerous is that? You never consulted in anything, and I'm your first client, and it's a UN. She went away, and a couple of days, she came back and said, are you sure you're going to do this? We say we're capable of doing it. She went into a serious fight in the office, trusting us. And then they reach an agreement. They will commission one of the big four to do due diligence for us, to try to see if we are capable, and then they can give us the work. So they spend more money to assess us than the actual work. But eventually they give us the work. And from that day, we have worked with UNFPA Tanzania for 10 years. We have created multiple impact. One of the starters, Mheshimiwa ameiona hapo, when we were starting with TAI in 2017, there were just 2 people in the company. Now there are 35 young people working in that company. And this is just a story of TAI. You could go to Afya Intelligence, you can look at Afya Read. They're saving hundreds of maternal deaths through their Mkanda Salama innovation. And now they're growing very fast. They've just attracted a capital of more than 150 USD to grow CAID beyond the few hospitals they're serving. And this is for only one reason. That day, Mama Felista visited at COSTECH when we don't have an office and say, I'm confident enough to work with these kids. So that is what happened when you trust your young people. That is what happened when you give them confidence and trust them that they can be able to do it. That is what happened when you say, it's okay to fail. Just make sure you fail fast, you fail cheap, and you learn from your failure. Because every great thing starts by being able to take risk. So next slide, please. Go to next slide, because Khalila did a very good work with that slide. Anyway, yeah, so, but we did a lot of work, but we are not alone. So the second group is the builders. Zenungu nombo usimame kidogo tukupigie makofi. So if we can clap for him. For those who know people in power and how politicians work, they always want to take credit of their own work. But Dr. Nungo is very different. He knew we worked with Dr. Mshinda before. By default, kacha zetu hizi za matatizo ni kwamba if those kids work with Dr. Mshinda, I don't have anything to do with them. But he was very welcoming. For the past 6 years, every press conference of Sahara Sparks, he has been our core government partner. He has taken risk with us. He has sponsored the event. He has given us an opportunity to contribute in different policies, whether it's on STI policies, whether it's on educational reform policies, whether it's innovation policies. We have worked with him hand on hand to design the National Innovation Framework. And to us, these are the builders. These are the people who are not there for a personal interest or to compete or to show I can do more than the other, but they're there to contribute and say, we can be able to build things together. Nchi yetu wote tuitengeneze, twende. I don't care who takes the credits. I'm here to do my work that I've been assigned to do. So if we can please clap for him again. So we appreciate not only him, we appreciate COSTECH, the management of COSTECH, and employees of COSTECH, and everyone at Buni and DTBI, because they've been our partners from beginning all the way to up right now. But again, Director Mashaka, if you can please stand up. Another ministry that we work very close with is the Minister of ICT. And you can see it. Please clap for him. It is difficult when things change. You get to learn each other. It was a new team. We've been around. Wametukuta wamekuja na timu mpya ya wizara. They had their own priorities. But they were very open to listen to us, to know about what we are doing. They trusted us with one of the biggest projects in Tanzania, the Digital Tanzania Institute, and the zonal soft centers, and the digital fabrication labs. Anyone would have consulted that work to one of the big fours, the Deloitte, the KPMG, and the likes, but they said, young Tanzanians are capable of doing this. Let's give them opportunity to do it so that we can work with them. So if we can please clap for them. And from there, we have done a lot of work. We started to work with the late Mheshimiwa Zile alifariki. Yeah, Ndungulile. So when Ndungulile was in, Mashaka was still the director of ICT. We did a lot of work with him. And then Minister Ndungulile passed, and then Minister Nape came in. We had a lot of discussion about supporting startups in Tanzania. They gave us an opportunity to travel with Her Excellency President Samia so that we can push the agenda of startups in Tanzania. We were with the CEO of Tanzania Startup Association. For the first time again, the boy from Kariakoo had an opportunity to talk to the president. Yeah, possibly I'm the one person in the family that has ever done that. So it was a very good, exciting experience. I remember I told Her Excellency 3 things. She asked, so what do startups in Tanzania want? I told her we want Startup Act, which can be preceded by startup policy. I told her we are looking for a special economic zone for startups so that we can be able to operate in a business-friendly environment. And I also told her we just want the commitment of the government to officially recognize startups so that we can be able to collaborate. And we focus on build things, and they focus on building policies. Because we want to move fast. But this wasn't me. It was the work of the other builder. So if CEO of TSA is Zauro, if you can stand up, please. Yeah. So, tafadhali unaweza kukaa. So when Zauro came to us, I remember this was after a very heated discussion between me and the late Hali Mufuluki. So some of you knows Mufuluki was very, very smart, very, very controversial. If you had a conversation with him, he has a certain way of looking and thinking and saying things. So one time they invited me to give a keynote. I think it was with the CEO roundtable. And again, being a young person, I was very angry and frustrated. And I went there, instead of using my speech, I was just on into them. Why you have a lot of money, you are not doing anything for startups, you're not even establishing an angel network to invest in us. We have so many problems, and you're only dealing with your own problems, you're not solving our problems. When you get a chance to meet with decision makers, you only talk about your issues. And I remember after, after my rant, Ali said only one thing. We started TPSF, CEO Roundtable, the Chamber of Commerce, and everything else to protect our own interest, establish something of yours. And I was very angry with the response. But when I went home, I was like, he's actually right. These guys will never do anything for us because they don't feel what we feel. They've never started business from scratch with just an idea. They either won a tender from the government, or they got rich during privatization, or they've inherited what they have. So they'll never understand what it takes to build a startup from scratch. So we started conversation with Zaoro. Can we have our own umbrella organization to represent our interest? Can we be able to push the startup agenda in Tanzania? But again, we needed the elders, because the elders are still very important. In order for the government to listen, you always have to have elders. So we approached one elder who is not too old. His name is Paul Makanza, our board chair of Tanzania Startup Association. And we told Paul, you're already the chairperson of CTI, Confederation of Tanzania Industry Owners. You're already the vice president, I don't know, of Tanzania Private Sector Foundation. It means they're listening to you. So would you be willing to be our chairperson so that we can push the startup agenda together? Paul said yes, with some condition. He assembled a very good team with us, including Balozi Togolani, and then we started to push the agenda of Tanzania startup ecosystem. But again, there are some individual people from their individual roles. They've done a lot of work. So please, if Joe, you can stand up. Joseph Manirakiza. So Joseph understands 2 languages. He understands the language of development partner, and he understands the language of startups. And that is critical if you want to mobilize resources from the development sector to bring to startups. As an institution and as an individual, he has done a tremendous work, and he's been a strategic partner for us from the beginning up to right now. So if we can clap for him again. By the way, it's not only Joe, the whole team at UNDP, if we can clap for them. Yeah, it has been an honor to work with you guys. But there's some other champions. I met Esa when he was a still university student. Can you imagine, Esa Mohamed Ali? And he said, I want to intern with your company. I told him what you want to do, anything that is related to AI. I'm like, we're not doing anything related to AI currently. He said, okay, just figure out what I'll do. And I'm like, just come to my office and we'll champion the AI community. Anything to do with AI, you'll do it. And that is how the Tanzania AI community was born. That eventually became the Tanzania AI Lab. That eventually has more than 250 researchers, innovators, entrepreneurs, startups who work together to advance AI in Tanzania. They have partnership with the likes of UNESCO, ICT Commission. So someone who just came to me as an intern today ran the most credible community of AI experts in Tanzania and Africa. It's part of the Africa AI-driven initiative. It's one of the critical peoples. So this is what happened when you trust where we work to support agri-tech. There's a lot of amazing founders who are actually doing amazing things. Next slide, please. But our work is driven by the founders. Kama mafounder wapo sisi kula tu tunaenda kulala. Ona. So our work is driven by the founders, and they're very important to us. By the way, founders have contributed to this event today. Shout out to Magila of Magila Tech. A lot of money is coming for this event from his personal company. That is a story of another day. Dr. Mshinda met with Magila when he was about to be rocked because he was hacking some government stuffs. But it's a story for another day. I said, like, this kid is just too smart. Don't lock him. Let him start a company. Anyway, but this founder, whether it's King Kamkono, with whatever he's doing right now with Tunza, they've been part of this stage since 2016. When we were doing the conference for the first time, Balozi was like, is this a conference or what? Because he came in as a guest of honor and there was hip hop playing behind and everyone was making a lot of noises. And everyone was coming in to give a speech or presentation. There was no any salutation. It was just excitement. But right now, these are some of the founders who are transforming the Tanzanian startup ecosystem. They have companies that worth millions, companies that employ a lot of young people, and they're unlocking opportunity for other young people. Next slides, please. Yeah, so my team, I mean, I think you have to see them. Some of them, they really hate Mata na picha. So if Musa, Adam, the founders of Sahara, if you're in the room, please. We'll start with the founders first. I know some of them, they really hate these things. They don't even like to put on suit. Yeah. So it's very interesting. Let me tell you something, one of the interesting facts. We have never been in one room at the same time. That is what it takes to run a business in Africa, especially in an occasion like this. So we meet once in a while, in a quarter, 4 times. We are 6 of us, but it's extremely difficult for us to be in one room at the same time. There's a joke most of African founders know. There's your core business, and there's a business you run to support your core business. If you're a founder, you understand. The founders in the room understand me. You have your core business, and then the business that you run to support your core. Kwa unaweza kuwa una develop software, lakini upo kwenye kilimo cha asali pia. Kwa hiyo, please guys, you can just go. I think I'll call you later when the rest of the team is here. But our team is big. Because of time, you'll see it later. This was 2018 when President Kikwete, the former president of the United Republic of Tanzania, came and visited us, and he was part of our event. He was very excited about our story and everything that we're doing. That day, we brought more than 250 people from across Africa to Tanzania. More than 40 innovation hubs come to Tanzania to celebrate 3 years of Sahara Sparks with us. The rest is history. We built a massive network across the continent. Next slide, please. But finally, the community, which is basically you guys. There are so many of you. In one way or the other, the development partners that are working with us, whether it's UNDP, UNFPA, UNCDF through PESA Tech Accelerator, HEIFA International through Hayute Challenge to support agri-tech. On the government side, I've mentioned Minister of Education, Minister of ICT through COSTECH and ICT Commission, founders, startup owners, and everyone that have been part of this exciting journey. The only thing we want to say is thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for everything that you have been able to do for us. Because it's critical. As Khalila said, it wasn't us, it's about you. You could have just said, wajanja wajanja wanatapeli watu mjini tusifanye nao kazi. But you decided to trust on us, work with us, collaborate with us to build this platform. And again, I'm very humbled and honored. Nasema asante sana. Kwa dhati kabisa kutoka kwenye moyo wangu na washukuru sana. It's 10 years. 10 years mtoto anazaliwa anakuwa na akili. For people to trust you for 10 years successively is not a joke. Kwa narudia tena, this is going off script of what I've written kwa sababu ni kitu nakisema ndani ya moyo wangu. Asanteni sana. So I'm done. But before I close, all the pictures I made them using AI. I don't have any picture of my family that I could actually do with AI. They're all very old. But they're a very crucial part of my journey. And if you are in this room and in any way you are related to me by blood, please stand up. Yeah, so please, you can sit. My dad and my moms are always here for the past 7 years. Yeah, so they always come. And I'm very humbled and honored to be with them and to be having this conversation with them. There's someone who's supposed to be here. I'm not sure if she's late. Nura. Come to save time kidogo tumalize hii shughuli. Yeah, so please if you can clap, that is my wife. Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. So 10 years. Just to tell you why this is important. Our marriage is 12 years. So, turning 13, she's reminding me. Yeah. I forgot even my birthdays, so she's doing a very good work. Anyway, what is important is building this venture took 10 years. Without you, tusingeweza kufanya tunachofanya. To the team, without you, tusingeweza kufanya tunachofanya. To the team, especially Sahara team, since Sahara started up to right now, we have hired more than 100 people, Mheshimiwa. So to the team, thank you for your spirit. And to the community, you guys, thank you so much for your belief. That being said, asanteni sana na washukuru. Nimechukua muda mrefu, mnisamehe sana, ila inibidi ni washukuru wote kwa sababu keynote yangu leo ilikuwa ni ya kushukuru tu. Sishukurugi siku nyingine, kwa hiyo imebidi ni accumulate shukrani zote. And that being said, there's a video that is going to pray. Yeah, one of our elders, Ambassador Arthur Matley, the former Switzerland ambassador to Tanzania and to East Africa and Zambia. He couldn't make it. His mom is very sick. So last meet he said he couldn't come to Tanzania. But I want to tell you the actual original founders of Sahara Ventures. So Sahara Ventures had 6 original founders. One is UNFPA. Second is Costec. Third is Switzerland Embassy in Tanzania. Fourth is Finnish Embassy in Tanzania. They supported us the first 4 years of Sahara. Fifth is HDIF when Joseph was still there, before to Funguo. And 6 is you guys. Thank you so much and I really appreciate it.